Welcome back, everyone. We're on the Giants Editor on the Jules Peaceful Valley map. We're in the Giants Editor on the Jules Peaceful Valley map. It's a Farming Simulator 19 map, as you can see. I'm going to turn around where you can look at the scenery. There we go. And as you can see, we've been working on these power poles for the past several episodes, quite a few episodes. Took a break from the roads because I know that was a little bit getting a little old, but we still got a few roads to do. This isn't. I'm not trying to make this map all perfect or anything. I'm gonna do some things different when I make my FS22 map. But this is just from using some of the tools available, like the Spline Street Constructor and different things. So that's why I'm just wanted to show how to do some of that. And there's other things you could do, and I may show. I just gotta wait and see about where these roads meet these other roads. And you know how sometimes that's not how they meet. They don't look like that when they meet. They're supposed to be like a different type of line setup. So what you could do, which I haven't done yet, uh, is say stop these. Don't put these two here. Stop at this one here so that this road stops here with the way it looks now, and then add in the paint.net a new road that has the lines the way you want it, to where that the end would have that white line here where it's a stop sign and it has that white line, or whatever the road sign needs to show for each road. Some have turn arrows, whatever. In these cases it would be simple. I think it would just be that little white line here because it shows you to stop. And so then maybe this part might look different. I'm not sure. I'd have to look. But then you could generate that, and hopefully you could get the distance to look right when you add these two pieces in, and then you generate it from you'd have to make another one here to make it meet up with this one, and then you would have that little piece of strip that you would have to line up and level out to make this part match, because it's going to be like two pieces, like this is two pieces, and then you could have your little end piece look right. But you could do that in the paint.net. If you look at my old the other videos I have on that, I did videos showing you how to make these lines on this road, and if you follow that you could figure it out and make that little bit of a I have one showing you could make little arrows or whatever you want there. So check that out if you want these end pieces not to look like that when they hit the road. Obviously, I just haven't done it yet. I'm gonna test it and see if it works out right with the distance is what I'm concerned with. If not, I'll just leave it like that for now. But you can, some other maps you can snatch off the piece. Let me show you on this other map real fast. If I click on it, you could take these pieces from these maps, this little piece that shows these little road pieces, but then you got to make your roads exactly hit the way these would hit the end of this one. See how that one hits that? Well, that. So you could take those pieces, but if you want, you can make it in Blender, which I made my water in Blender, but I didn't do my roads in Blender. You could do that. That's a little bit more detailed. I was trying to just keep it pretty simple and show you the simpler methods of at least getting roads in your map. But as you can see, these roads are quite different. Here's that little angle piece I was telling you about on a previous episode. Like I might could take that piece and change it, duplicate it or make a new one, and then change it in the paint.net to match my road the way that I need it to, the color and all. And then I might could throw something like that in there for certain pieces that are coming into the roadway or what have you, or the Y's where it hits a Y angle. But anyway, I just wanted to show you, explain that. See, like this, it's got its whole piece there. They must have made that in the, I don't know if they made it in Blender or not, but here's the little corner piece. See, to make instead of where this road hits that, the way I'm making it kind of looks different. But anyway, I just wanted to show you can do that. You just would have to have you'd have to make the pieces separate like that one. See. But anyway, we're going to go on and get back to the power poles for now. we'll worry about these roads later, because we're getting some other work done that needs to get done. So we're just trying to move on to something else. So we're going to go ahead and drag this over, this little marker. Get started here, somewhere along these lines. And drag it over. Alright, so now we need to click back on this transformer one, because we're skipping every other one. And then click the one under it on this list. Then we're going to click Control B on the keyboard, left click, then drag it over till it touches this back of this, because we're measuring the distance from the road. Then you can come in close enough where you can see it and lift this up, and then just barely put that under the ground. Make sure your light is shining toward the road, and try to make your pole, the cross T right here, as close to this one as you can, to where it would look right if there were power lines running across this road. Now obviously in this situation, depending on how I set the map up, you might would have had a traffic light here, but I don't think so, since we're out in the country. We'll say this is the country, supposedly, depending on where I decide to put a little town at on the map. I haven't even really focused on that yet, but we'll have to adjust things accordingly as I pick things and put things where I need them. We're going to have this road be coming along here and get it going there. We still got quite a few roads to do. Probably one big road and a couple little ones. I think we'll be done. But let's move right along. I think we got that one. Drag this over. Bring it up a little. There we go. Appreciate all the new subscribers. If you've been enjoying the channel, I appreciate it. Hope that you hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Helps the channel grow, and I do appreciate it. Alright, so now we need to duplicate this one. Make sure it's fully highlighted. I'm going to close this one because it... there we go. Now hit Control D, as in dog, and drag it down. Bring it over. Right up to this little white marker. Roll over a little bit, test the distance. Looks like it needs to go over a little more, get a little more distance. We'll back it up to the edge here. Bring it on down. And we're going to slide it right into the back side of this. Turn it around. Put this going that way. Make sure this looks equal to that or close. And then we should be decent on that one. Now we're going to roll back in a little and lift it, and then just put it under, just barely. Okay. Now we're going to grab this or this transformer one, and then click under it. Control B, as in boy. Click left click, and we're going to drag this down about right there. And move right along. It's pretty basic after you learn how. I mean, you should be okay. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Just make sure you highlight the whole transform when you're doing it, or you'll grab bits and pieces of it. Make sure you measure what you think the right distance is. Looks like we went a little further, so let me see. Make sure it's fully highlighted. I think that's decent. Let me back it up a little, see, somewhere along there. Bring this in and drag it over. Be good, about right there. We're going to lift it, then just under, then we're going to turn it for the light to hit the road, and we're going to try to line this line up with that one as best we can. It's not going to be lined up because of the light, but just a little. We'll make sure the light still looks decent. I think that's good enough. We want to make sure the light looks okay. I guess we'll worry about the light more because That's going to be the most important part, as long as it's hitting the road. And now we're going to move this over, like so, where we think it needs to go. Lift it up. And it's the same old thing over and over again. Gonna be doing work on other things soon. We got a lot to do. But I want to do some of the harder things like adding cell points and stuff like that, because I like to make the map have all the functions first, usually, before I do too much decorating. I want it to be a functioning map, so I want to do that and get that out of the way. Then we'll start painting and doing all the other stuff, adding in housing and things like that. Alright, so now we're going to hit Control D, and then we'll duplicate it, drag it over. Control D just duplicates this power pole. The reason we're not duplicating one and doing one of the others is because this one, I put the other ones in this. There were smaller poles, and there aren't anymore, so I'm having to duplicate it because other ones are in here, and I don't want the small poles. But on the other one, this one, we're keeping it the same and in order because we had plenty of the same poles, and so we don't need to duplicate it. We can just click the next one and then bring it over with Control B. So we didn't have to delete all these and just duplicate. If you wanted, you could do that, delete all these, and every time you could just hit Control D and duplicate it and drag it over. But we're not doing that because we have them and they're all the same. The other poles weren't the same, and that's why I'm duplicating. And I'm also duplicating this one because to keep the numbers in order here. 424. If you went back to this one, it would say 423. Whoop. Was it? It don't say that? I'm confused. Oh, there we go. 23. And then this one said 22. So it's just keeping it in order, the numbers and everything. So now I'm going to roll in. And drag this around. See if that does okay. Gotta do it a little more this way because of that power pole, the way that looks. Now we're gonna drag it slightly over to touch this, roll in, and then once we do that, we gotta lift it and put it just under the ground. And it don't take long, and you can move quite fast right to the next one. It's not too bad. Control B and just keep moving right along. Drag this over and lift it up. So we're almost done with this part. So it don't take too long. It's not too bad. I do need to test it in game, just to make sure everything's functioning. Since I brought the whole group over, like this right here, this whole group, when I did it, it shouldn't have any problems with it not working. Usually if you bring it over, it works. So it should be fine. But if you bring one pole at a time, you could have trouble, I don't know, with the lights working. But I try to bring the whole group over. So we're going to turn this around somewhere along those lines. And I think that's decent. And we already lifted it, so I believe. So we should be good on that. Let's try it again in case I forgot. Alright, just under. And look at the width, make sure it looks about right. Actually, it could come down a little more. That's better. And we don't have but a couple more, maybe two. We'll see. Bring it down. We'll split the difference when we get down there. We're going to duplicate this. That's a little far. We'll back it up a little. Let me double check that distance. That's about right. Actually, if we go a little further over though, we should be able to get one without making an extra one. So we'll do it like this. Click back on here. We gotta drop this because it'll change the distance if you don't get it right. Alright. Then we're gonna just drag that over. Touch this. We're gonna lift it and then put it just under. And then we're gonna rotate it slightly if we need to. Not too much, actually. Alright, that one's done. And last but not least, hopefully, we'll see. I don't know, it's going to be quite the jump to the end there. We might have to slightly move some of them over just a hair to compensate for that. Because I want it to come to the end where it's supposed to. And technically I should have put this corner post here should have been another transform group to have a light on the end of that. But I could put another light. There are light. You can use lights, so there are other lights you can use. So we'll see. We'll see. Alright, now we're going to click on this one, click the next one, hit Control, B as in boy, left click, where have I clicked? Alright, you gotta be careful when you're clicking fast. It clicked on something, so I had to move it. Alright, this gotta move over a hair. Make sure it's fully highlighted, move that over. And on this, we got a corner here. So I'm going to point the light toward the corner instead of on this road or that road. I'm going to point it kind of in the middle here. Hopefully that looks decent because we're going to be turning. So hopefully that is good enough. So back off a little bit. And another thing is this one needs to go down more to the end because this is going to be a road right coming across here. Let me see. I think that'll be about the distance of this width here. And so we'll have that on the corner. It's not going to be perfect, but hey. And now we'll back off so we can see. Lift it, bring it into the ground. This one's not quite where it should be. We're going to bring it over. And bring this over some more. And that should be pretty good. Got the light pointing on the curve right here, so that's gonna work out. But anyway, I think that, let me see the distance. That was kind of an extravagant distance, so I might move this one over, straight over, about right there. Let me see the distance, if it moved much. Looks good. And then we're going to move each one over just a hair, just to compensate for that. There we go. And move this one over a hair. We'll move this one just a little more. Make sure the whole thing highlights. There we go. And I think that's pretty equal. It's good enough. Now we're going to hit save. Make sure we do that. Don't want to mess anything up. Lose any work we did. Go ahead and smash that like button if you like these map making tutorials. I appreciate everybody. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Please hit that like button and share the video. Appreciate everybody. Channel's growing nicely, and I thank you. So now we've hit the end of that road. As you can see, let me see where we're at and I'll show you. This road's got to be repaired. As you can see, I didn't repair that one. I didn't finish it. This is the last road, not the last road, but the last road I was working on. And I hadn't finished it. I've curved this. We got the 14, the marker that I'm using for those measurements actually belongs here. So I either got to delete it and then start duplicating another one or put it back. But so we're going to come along. There's some light poles that are going to be moved. And it just got to go along the whole map where the road is all around. It's a big long road, but I'll have to see how I want to set it up. May have to make some changes to some of the roads because of how they're oriented. So, but as you can see, I got to move some of that. But we're gonna come over here hopefully soon and work on the waterfall. But I might have a little trouble with this angle of the map. The way the ground is angling down like that. I had a water area here, but wasn't wanting to look right on in game. The way that it angled down. So I may have to do some kind of building this side up. Unfortunately, I don't want to do that, but might have to build up a ledge a little bit, adjust the waterway a little bit. As you can see, this was water area. All that was water area because it flows down into this, and it was to flow down this and everything. But I may have to build that up to make it where the water can lay more flat, which is going to be way up. So I'm going to have to work on that, see what's going to have to happen there. I don't know. It's going to be a bummer if I can't get it to work the way I want it to, because we got our waterfall situation here. And I made it so that it looks like it drains off the mountains, the snow or whatever, into this little spot up here that's going to have water. And I've made it block off right there. It's going to be water here. Water's going to come down. And I had it was better, but when I changed to my size of my map, it kind of messed me up on some of it, so I'm going to redo. But these were like little water pools. I'm going to have to fix them. And then the water was pooling and going down. And then I had a big old waterfall right here that landed in water that ran into this like little waterway here. And everything, the water was over here, and the water was down here. So it's on such an angle that it don't look right when you're looking at it head on. See how flat, this one's flat? So when you're in game it looks right, but when you're looking at it, this one, you're standing say here, and you're looking at this one, the water is angled and it don't look right. So I've got to figure out what to do to get it situated. I may have to make a plane for the bottom one, then make that somehow come into it and then lift it or whatever. If I have to make another waterfall or whatever, I don't know. But I hadn't even worked on that lately, so. But it's a lot coming. I'm going to have to figure it out later. But at least we're getting the power poles in. Took a break from the roads. I needed to get back on the roads. I don't know. I might try to do some of it off screen. I'll do a little on screen, some off screen. Still got quite a few little roads to get done. We could make some of them dirt roads, obviously. But I want to do some of these. I got to make some of these the big roads because they're so big. I might can make some of the smaller roads, the dirt roads. And we're still going to have roads coming off to the different properties, farms, and so on. So, but anyway, I'm going to call that an episode here with our road being pretty well to the end of this little piece. And then we're going to work on it some more, or we may do some other thing on the map. I'll have to see. But I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Turn on your notification bell if you want to receive a notification every time I post a video. Goodbye, everybody.